Previously on X-Men.
Everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here with Working Interviews, back to talk more of the X-Men, the animated series. We're talking Dark Phoenix Part 3. So we are now 8 episodes in. We are in the penultimate of the saga, if you want to call it. When you put them all together, this is episode 8 of the saga, starting with the Phoenix, the original Phoenix saga. This one's called The Dark Phoenix. So if you have not seen this episode, major spoilers coming at you. We're hitting you with everything. So again, just like when I was rewatching the recap, and like right there, what a fucking incredible touch that they added. The flames, then they have like stock footage of like flames, all right, and then they superimpose Jean's face above it, and in those like gaps, they have real flame. Film flame shooting behind it to show like more of the like full power. So like mixing those kind of like cool, like just one shot. And they spent time going, hey, you know what would be really cool? Let's put some real flames behind her head. I mean, come on. That's freaking amazing. This episode just really, again, impresses me because this is the big turn, like the big full-on turn, where she's, in the movies, right, she's going to destroy some stuff. But really what she's doing is she's fighting the superheroes. And it's the X-Men who have to stop her in these movies that they put out. And we don't get any further than that. But in this, we go so much further. And not so small scale either. So we start right from the last episode where Jean's, standing there getting ready to start some shit as Phoenix, Dark Phoenix. Storm's like, don't do it. I don't know exactly what she means, don't do it. I guess don't turn, but like everybody's freaking out. They all try to fight her. And like, hey, it's cool looking. I mean, it's fun to read in a comic book. It's fun to see it play out. But it's like, I mean, come on. They went through this with the Ken already, where he just wiped the floor with them. So they got to try to do something, So Storm's like hitting her with a hurricane force gale, and it's fine. But it's like I said, it looks cool, but it's like nets, she's just knocking us off like one at a time. Scott, they have the whole thing where she, so after Storm tries the hurricane, right, and Phoenix takes in the lightning bolts and shoots it back at Storm. And we get the line, "Get away from her, you witch," from Rogue. And come on, we know that's an Ellen Ripley. They took Ellen Ripley's line from Aliens, "Get away from her, you bitch," and they changed it to witch, and they gave it to Rogue talking to Dark Phoenix. Come on. We're referencing an R-rated movie, R-rated sci-fi movie with Sigourney Weaver references. Just movies don't even pull that kind of shit off like as well as this just did. So, and Phoenix ends up like turning the tree that Rogue's gonna hit her with like into gold, and it drops on her and Wolverine. Beast tries to jump on her face and then gets shot by Cyclops because she turns. Rogue tosses Gambit into the water after he tries to hit on her. And then Rogue, after all this, finally is like, literally takes the gloves off and tries to drain her. But it's just way too, like, Rogue's powerful, right? Rogue is really fucking powerful. but the Phoenix is basically a celestial entity. And so she just gets torched and like thrown across the whole freaking area. And even Scott's love, where he's just, come on, I love you, blah, 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 oh. That gets him smacked around, and she throws everybody. Wolverine goes flying, and we find out how much he hates ducks when I don't know what that whole thing is. Maybe it's a Canadian thing, I don't know, but he doesn't like ducks. And Jean, though, after she smacks Scott, right? She comes out for a second. She's like, look, things are about to get really bad. I'm sorry, I can't stop this, but you guys, you need to be safe. All right? Phoenix is going to kill everybody. And so once she conveniently gets a few lines out, Phoenix completely just goes ballistic and creates her energy becomes so strong as she's blasting off from Earth that it gets, again, like in the very first episode, I believe, of the Phoenix Saga, gets noticed by we had some cameos from people that noticed her power. And where, again, we see Doctor Strange taking notice. We see Thor taking notice. We see the Watcher, Uatu, is that his name, Uatu? The Watcher on the moon sees it. And as Jean blasts off as Phoenix, right, she's taking off across the galaxy and even eternity, the living embodiment of eternity from the comics, as it notices the Phoenix Force. So some serious shit's going down. And she goes all the way across back to like the Shi'ar or around there, right? Or even further out than that, because there's a Shi'ar space exploration team, right? They're out there just trying to find new planets to meet and greet, basically. Kind of like what I wish kind of would happen right now. Somebody would fucking save us. But they're out there just looking around, and all of a sudden they encounter the Phoenix Force as it goes flying and into a star, feeds on it, and destroys an entire star system with a whole bunch of planets that apparently didn't have living, beings, which is probably kind of like the Jean part of her doing like a Silver Surfer, and like making sure the planets that Galactus eats wouldn't have people on it or living, like intelligent life. And so that's what she does. She probably had enough influence to keep her from killing an entire system. But this is again like Galactus. It's only a matter of time before she's going to destroy places with people and living things. And it's not going to matter. And she's just going to end up feeding and feeding and feeding, unstoppable, till she just destroys the whole thing. And it's because it's kind of like this god with now the energy, the emotional levels of like experiencing life on Earth. This thing has just become like, it's psychotic. It has no ideas of the Doctor Strange and the Watcher and everything. So they can't it wasn't just trying to but that's the other thing that's great, is that we see stakes when she becomes Dark Phoenix. In the freaking movies, like I said, she fights off like the anti-mutants, the people that had to cure mutants in like X3. That's all she was doing until she got stopped. There's Eternity. Got stopped by Wolverine. I mean, she was gonna get worse, but like that was it. That was all we're really, she was gonna destroy everybody again, like she did Xavier and Magneto earlier, or at least Xavier earlier. And in the second movie, she just fights them on a train. And then she just gets stopped. Here, she goes off into space, into the galaxy, and is destroying whole star systems. It's not just this petty little thing on Earth that just like, then you never really can fully understand the Phoenix when you just do that. And then she just gets stopped. It's stupid. And at this point, Lalandra from the Shi'ar that was in the part of the Phoenix Saga, she's now getting her Imperial Guard ready to go after the Phoenix. Next up is like this Xavier exposition dump that's just basically telling people that, I don't know, fell asleep in the first 5 minutes of this episode, what all's been going on, and that it's, really there's no way to stop the Phoenix and separate them. We have to gonna have to kill Jean. But that's, Scott's like saying, there's a psychic warning, Phoenix is on her way back. And they're saying, that's it, we have to just kill Jean, all right? That's it. there's no other way. And Wolverine's like sitting there shaking his head, and he's just like, he says the only smart thing. He's like, how are you supposed to stop something that can just, melt you in a second? Like, no thought. This thing's holding back, and that's what gives him the idea. Is like, why hasn't it just obliterated us? Why does it keep coming at us and then stopping? And it's because Jean has enough control to keep it from happening. So they still, again, try to come up with a plan to save her. And then they also have the plan where they have the mnemonic scrambling device. I didn't even know what mnemonic meant when this came out. I still don't think I don't 100% know what mnemonic means. But I know it's got to do with the sound. So they make this thing that they're supposed to put on her that'll confuse Phoenix long enough, basically not be able to speak, kind of confuse the thoughts so you can't process anything, so that Scott can get Jean to take over. And then Scott feels that Jean's nearby, and so he kind of, maybe she sent a message saying where she was. Dang, man, my camera's acting, but it's like going all crazy. Yeah, like, so they know where she is, so she goes home, back to her childhood home. And again, like, her parents are alive, not like in Dark Phoenix where they just show her being a little fucking shitty kid who goes, and flips the fucking car over and kills her parents. No, in this one, her parents are there. She had a happy childhood. She went to Xavier to get help. She wasn't like this traumatized little kid that they wanted to make her out to be, so that way they could just say, oh, that's why she went to turn into Dark Phoenix, because she had some dark stuff in her past. It's like, fuck you, we all got dark shit. So they show that she had a happy family, and then, but it finds out also that they got there ahead of, the X-Men got there ahead of her. This is all kind of a trick, an illusion that Charles is manufacturing. But the mnemonic scrambling device can't handle it, and she goes ballistic again. And so she again just starts throwing people around, and Will Road gets to say, "What is this? Catch an X-Man Day?" But we do get kind of like one of the moments that they've done before, which is Wolverine leaping into action, knowing this is no good. I'm the only one right now that can stop her. And of course, though, it's a cartoon. So even though the intent is there, and even like he got him pulled back with his claws and everything, he still can't do it. Like, she even tells him, you've got to do it. You've got to kill me. Otherwise, and then of course it's too late. But it was still intense. It was still like, holy shit. Like, Wolverine covers some ground and leaps at her and really is about to take her down. Now, if this was like, a made-for-DVD kind of thing, this might have gone a little bit differently. And while this, though, is all going on, Scott implores Jean's side and keeps talking about love, our love, the love of not just you and me, but our family, all of mutants, all of the whole world. And so, at this point, Jean's able to tip the scales a little bit in her favor, which gives Xavier an opening to hit her psychically, so that they can knock her out. But again, they're not doing what needs to be done, and they have these semantics. They talk around and oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. Well, in the meantime, she recovers again, and it's just this. She blows up, Xavier's chair, and with his last bit of strength that he can use, Xavier hits her with one last mental assault. And takes her to the astral plane, where he decides to fight her on his turf. But the Phoenix is still really powerful. She's whooping his ass, but because they're on the astral plane, it means Jean's mind can separate from the Phoenix, and her and Xavier attack the Phoenix and lock her inside of Jean's brain. So for now, they have temporarily locked her up, and they have to figure out where to go from here. But so when they come back, Jean's back in her old, original Phoenix suit. It's all gone back to normal, and she even calls Scott Four Eyes. But it's a temporary fix. Something really has to be done. And so, boom, enter the frickin' Shi'ar, who are all there to take Jean/Phoenix into custody to destroy her, because the power's too great, and just saying that it's going to be locked up in her head forever is a nice little fantasy, but something more permanent really has to happen for both the Phoenix and Jean. You know, like, it's kind of like the parasite and the host thing. Like, you could kill the host if you remove the parasite sometimes. And that's where they're at right now. And so even though the threat of the Dark Phoenix seems to be over, the consequences, holy shit, did anybody realize that there are some? Some things actually deal with consequences. And so in this, the fate of Jean Grey in our next episode is going to be decided. The fate of Phoenix and Jean Grey kind of like put on trial in the Shi'ar Empire. And that'll be the final part of the X-Men the Animated Series that we've been doing. After that, we will be starting the Batman the Animated Series reviews. We're going to be doing all of them. Yep. I'm going to be talking about every episode of Batman the Animated Series coming up next. So, if, though, you liked this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for all notifications. You can find me on Twitter at Yesh8, that is YESSHH8. Otherwise, you can look up Rob Stone, a.k.a. Smirking Gun Reviews, and you can talk to me on that. So, otherwise, have a great night, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye. The last one.